Warning, Central Indiana Sports Report is full of really good people doing everything they can not to say anything offensive, but it could happen. And if it does, it does. If something made it through the editing process, we didn't think it was offensive enough to cut out of the podcast, so end of the story. What you are listening to now is the Central Indiana Sports Report podcast number 308.1. John Robertson and Michelle Garmon's reaction to the Fever's 85-75 home loss to the LA Sparks on Thursday night with guest KC Robertson.
You're listening to the Central Indiana Sports Report with your host, Greg Mengels.
Welcome to the Central Indiana Sports Report Fever fans, to our post-game reaction of the Fever's 85-75 home loss to the LA Sparks. A bit of a disheartening loss. Looked like they were going to win most of the way through the game and then didn't. John Robertson, please introduce the guests and take it away.
Okay, everybody. You all know me. We have Michelle Garmon, who's here from the Elwood Csll-Leader and Tipton County Tribune. And tonight we have a special guest. We have KC. KC is my daughter, and she was at the game with me tonight. I knew Caitlin Clark not playing tonight was going to give us the opportunity to get tickets at a much better value. So we took the opportunity to sit courtside this evening. KC, how did you enjoy the game?
It was an amazing experience. The players were so close. We even got to high-five some of the players in the tunnels.
So
it was
jealous.
Great.
So we're going to be talking about the game from that perspective tonight. So normally I would have a much better analytical breakdown because I probably would have taken notes watching the game at home. But when you're that close to the action, because this is really the closest I've ever said at any basketball game that I've been to, other than a Pacers preseason game one time, it's hard to really, you're too invested. I wasn't on my phone at all. I wasn't doing any of that stuff. I was watching the game and I was invested. So I had to come back and look up the box score when we got home. As far as the game went, I would say the biggest talking point of the night is it was Aari McDonald's first time back with the team, right? And she looked so good for not having been with the team for that long. I don't know if she was secretly practicing with them that we didn't know about or whatever, but she was clicking with them pretty well. KC, how did you feel about the passes you were seeing coming from Aari tonight?
She was doing really well. It was, like you said, very impressive for her first game officially signed on with the Fever.
Anything you noticed about her play you want to bring up?
She was hustling really well. I noticed one time she went down to the floor and got back up immensely quickly. And that was incredibly impressive.
Yeah, she was definitely fighting for the 50-50 balls. She was definitely sprinting everywhere. She was not hesitating to fight for anything. What did you see from home, Michelle? Anything on the Aari McDonald front?
I thought she played very well. Fits in. I thought she did a great job. I thought maybe though there was a little rust. I should say a little rust in the just kind of in the flow of the offense. She did things, and I'm not going to say, and I don't think that was necessarily her so much, but I just thought defensively is why they were so good. And I thought and stayed in the first half, steal after steal, and they just hustled, like you said, the 50-50 balls. But offensively, other than, Kelsey Mitchell hitting some, and then Sophie Cunningham, I think, got a 3 there late in that first half, but I just didn't think they clicked offensively. And I thought part of it was, John, you were there. I didn't think they go inside out enough. I know Boston ended up with 13 shot attempts, but if I remember, she only took 4 shots in the first quarter, or at least through the first 18 minutes of the contest.
I don't know how many shots she had and when. I do know that she was really having to fight inside. There was a lot of outside perimeter ball, and she was fighting to not get beat up. Aaliyah was really they were battling underneath when she was in there, but they couldn't get a good pass down in. And there was a lot of cuts to the rim that they were trying to make, but they were getting picked off. I mean, there was definitely they forced some inside passes that I would say weren't that good.
And Howard just didn't seem to be, I mean, I know she hustled too, but I just didn't think she had much of a noticeable presence offensively.
I mean, she had 13 points. She was 4 for 9 from the field. I'm trying to think, where's the rebounds? She only had 3 rebounds. I would say she played a fine game. Like I wouldn't say she played a bad game. I think she played fine. It's just nothing remarkable that stood out really from Howard. I'm looking at the plus minus, and I hate to say this because you know how I feel about this, but Lexi has the worst plus minus. She was minus 17. But and again, it's the weirdest thing because like she had 9 rebounds, 3 assists, and 6 points. I mean, that's not like you'd like to see more points out of her, but like as far as rebounds go, that I'm happy with 9 rebounds from Lexi. I'm happy.
Well, you know, you should be. I actually thought. I mean, Lexi. The one thing is consistent. You know what you're getting from Lexi night in and night out. I mean, she's probably the most consistent Fever player, and that you know exactly what you're going to get from her. She gets open threes more times than not. She's going to knock them down, or you know, she's at least going to take them to make them have to come out to guard her. She is going to play tenacious defense, and she's just going to battle. I mean, from start to finish, she's going to battle. She's going to give you 110% effort every minute she's in the game.
And that's why we love her. She was 0 for 3 from 3 tonight. Her field goal percent is 28%. She was 2 for 7. She had a couple of missed layups, a couple inside ones that she probably should have had. Not the best night for her, but not the worst. I mean, like, still, her presence was felt on the court. Boston had 10 rebounds, so Boston was fighting for rebounds and did a good job there. Only 12 points. The best, I mean, Aari, the guy that was there kept saying Aari, so I'm going to try and say Aari. She played really well, and Kelsey Mitchell, again, the star, she had 20 points. And KC called that before the game. I was putting my bets in, and I said, how many points do you think Kelsey Mitchell's going to have? And what did you say, KC?
I said 20, right?
You did. You said 20. And I said, I don't know about that. I said, I don't know if I feel good about that. I should go 15. And you said, okay. So we went with 15. Timpson got some minutes, though. Michaela Timpson actually got some minutes tonight, which was good to see.
Yeah, you know, maybe that's why they seemed off with like the kind of the inside out, because that's maybe missing Sabonis a little bit. Her role, Turner and her don't really have the same style of games.
You mean DeMontis?
Yes.
Dantas.
I'm sorry.
No.
I meant DeMontis.
Sabonis was a pacer.
Yes, I know. I'm so sorry.
No, you're fine. Casey, you even noticed that Dantas was gone.
I noticed she was out of the country for something.
Yes, she's participating in a FIBA, which is the Federal International Basketball Association or something. But there's international basketball tournaments going on, so she'll be gone until mid-July. So Fever looked really good until what happened? When did it fall apart? Do you remember?
I know it was around the fourth quarter. I know LA started shooting really well.
They did, and Fever
Kelsey Plum got hot.
She did. Kelsey Plum got hot, and Fever weren't able to match it, and they kind of... LA reminded me sort of what the Pacers did to Oklahoma City and a couple other teams in the playoffs. They just sort of slowly reeling them in, and then they took the lead, and then the Fever just got frustrated and couldn't get it back.
Well, and Stevens got hot, too. I mean, it was like she kind of... When I looked at the final points at the end of the game, I was shocked to see how many she'd scored. So I know that I think most of those came in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, they started to get really good in the fourth quarter, and then, like I said, they just reeled them in. But so we were sad to see the team lose, and I think this is like a big thing that we're dealing with right now. I mean, obviously Caitlin Clark's out, but even when she was in, they're struggling to close out games. They're getting leads. They had a 10-point lead. I can't remember if it was in the fourth quarter or at the end of the third quarter, somewhere in there that we had 10-point lead, and then they just couldn't close it.
Yeah, well, I saw where somebody posted on Twitter that the Fever have lost 3 of their last 4 games after being up double digits in the fourth quarter.
Yeah.
That will not get the job done.
It will not. I mean, I think the Pacers had that going on for them a couple years ago too, where that was their big flaws. They would get a lead and then lose it at the end and not close out the game. But yeah, that's the story of the game. Casey, what was your favorite part of the evening?
My favorite part was definitely getting to high five the Fever players. That was really fun.
That was really cool. Yeah, you got the high five. Let's see. I saw Sid and Lexi and Sophie and Howard.
I need to go to jelly school.
Jelly school?
I'm jelly.
Yeah.
I'm totally jelly.
Well, I'll tell you the part that I thought was cool. I mean, the whole experience was cool. The part that I really enjoyed was when we first got there, we were running behind because I was waiting for ticket prices to kind of fall. And then we got there and we didn't have to wait in line to scan our tickets. We just got to go in a door that said Courtside Club and we walked downstairs. I was like, this is cool.
Wow. All right, real fast before we go, we need to talk about a little more about the Caitlin injury. How concerned are we?
I think she's going to be out for at least a week, if not 2. I don't think it's a super, super bad injury, but I also think that when you look at what those typically go, it takes a minute to heal up.
Is it not related to the other injury? And is that not concerning long term?
I think it's a different injury.
One was a quad and one was a groin.
Yeah, this is a groin injury.
You know what I think? I'm not so sure she didn't strain the groin in some ways of as she was maybe working her way back with the quad or whatever, and maybe that's why she went into that shooting slump a little bit too. If she just, you know how you can favor or try to protect something when you're coming back, and I'm not so sure that maybe she didn't do that, and then that's one of the reasons she was struggling with her shot and it hurts her groin, and you know some of those logo threes she takes, they're not the best shot one. That's, you know, she flips out her legs and the way she kind of flings it is not, I mean, it's don't get me wrong, she's good at it. But
no, you're good. I think if you go back and watch the Seattle game, you could see where there was a moment at the end where she kind of collapsed to the ground, and even Erica Wheeler comes over and checks on her, and I think that's when it happened, when it really happened. KC, how concerned are you about Caitlin being out?
I think that Caitlin's going to be tough. She's going to get through it, and she's going to be back soon.
Yeah,
I believe.
But here's what I feel bad about is she's gonna feel pressured since Indianapolis is hosting the All-Star game, maybe feel pressured to play in it. But I really hope if she's not 100%, that whoever, if she starts, that they just
play, even if it's just to show up and play a few minutes.
Well, that's what I mean. I'm hoping that if she is not 100%, that they understand that she goes out there and plays 3 or 4 minutes and she's done, you know?
Even before that, though, we got to worry about the Commissioner's Cup. That's in a couple of days.
Good point. I hadn't even thought about that. Probably playing that without her, too. Any last question? Last time we'll bring her up. DeWanna Bonner, final thoughts on the saga?
I think that the Fever had known what was going on much sooner. I think they had a plan pretty early once they realized that, you know, once Aari came in and was doing so well and DeWanna wasn't performing, I think they had been in conversations. Like, respect to DeWanna for being who she is. I don't like the way it was handled. Obviously, we don't have all the information, so I'm not going to sit here and rip on her. It's a bad look. I want to say, with it lacking any other extra information, I think it's a bad look.
Have you seen, because I was reading something today where somebody believes that the Fever asked her to step away from the team while she was not fit, not comfortable, and trying to decide, that they asked her so that she wouldn't be a distraction. And then I don't know. I mean, I saw a feed and it was funny, but I'm not going to go into it on here because it's all speculation. I don't think it's appropriate, but it was
good. Let's stop
I think there was some personal stuff involved in this too.
Yeah, I think that's fair. I did see the interview with the team management that said, you know, they were trying to work with her to do the best and get her a trade when they didn't think it was going to work. And then I can't remember exactly what was said about whether they asked her to not play or not. I just wish they would have delivered the messaging different. KC, are you sad about DeWanna Bonner being gone?
Honestly, she didn't feel like a Fever to me.
Agreed.
Like, I liked her. It just didn't feel right.
Okay. That's a great take.
So, hey, KC, tell me this. Who do you think has to step up for the Fever tomorrow night? Because they have 2 back-to-back games this season, and this is the first one. They go to Dallas tomorrow night. So who has to...
Well, yeah, ask KC who she's rooting for tomorrow since they're going to Dallas, because who's on Dallas?
Watch yourself.
Paige Beckers.
Now, you're a Fever fan. She's a Fever fan first and foremost, but you are a Paige Beckers fan.
You can cheer for Paige and the Fever.
So, but who do you think for the Fever? Who are you looking for? Who would you like to see really step up for the Fever tomorrow?
I think Aaliyah Boston and Kelsey Mitchell.
Yeah.
Good call.
I think that's a good call. I think Aaliyah Boston going up against Melissa Smith is going to be an interesting matchup tomorrow. You know, because there's history there, right?
Yes, there is.
Yeah.
I think the league is going to be sad that Paige and we don't get the Paige-Caitlin matchup that they wanted, I think there are going to be fans saying that Caitlin's ducking, and because you got to have that level of drama.
I want to start seeing more from Sydney Colson.
Yeah, she started tonight, and then Aari came in off the bench. I felt like Aari was the better of the two this evening, but Sydney's obviously the veteran.
Clearly, she was the better of the two this evening, John.
Yeah, no, I know, but I'm just saying, do you think that Aari's going to get the starting spot over Sydney?
Tomorrow night, probably not.
Should?
Possibly.
Yeah.
I don't think that it happens right away, and I get it, because if you're already coming off the Bonner situation, and we don't know the dynamics that have gone on with that situation in the locker room, off the court. So it could be a situation where I think if Caitlin ends up being out for very long or re-aggravates it, I think Aari will end up starting. I just don't think you bring the player that you pick at the emergency contract player, and all of a sudden you insert her into the starting lineup.
Yeah, that's fair. I think we're going to struggle in the paint for a minute, because with Dantas gone, and really Howard and Boston are good, but after there, I didn't really see a lot from Brianna Turner, and she played tonight, and Timpson's just so young and new. So I think our post game is going to struggle. So
I was a little surprised, because I actually thought, because the defense was so good there in the first half a little bit, and I know LA, and they, with that size, he becomes concerning with the rebounding, but I think Lexi Hall and I think Sophie Cunningham can hold her. I was really kind of surprised. I was kind of hoping they might go small with Aaliyah in the middle and play Hall and Cunningham, Mitchell, and McDonald all on the floor at the same time.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot to play with. I just think we're lacking in size right now. I miss Damaris. I think Damaris being gone for the next is going to be it's going to hurt us. I think that Lexi Hull needs to step up tomorrow and get a double-double. That's what I want to say. That's who we need to see tomorrow. A big game from Lexi Hull. I hope she's guarding Beckers. I hope. And don't forget to vote for
Beckers or Enrique.
I mean, put Sophie on one and Lexi on the other. And
hey, Casey, who should we remember to vote for besides Lexi?
Sophie.
Vote Lexi, vote Sophie.
Then I had to remind them to also vote for Caitlin and Aaliyah and everybody else. Go vote for all the Fever. Thanks so much to our Fever regulars, John Robertson and Michelle Garmon. Michelle, of course, the sports editor at the Tipton Tribune and Elwood Csll-Leader. They will be here following every single Fever game the rest of the summer, one or the other at least, to wrap up the Fever games. And, of course, the Fever Report every Thursday. If you like what you hear, please share. Central Indiana Sports Report is brought to you by TG Media, and I love Susie.